Yes.
Doesn't matter, doctor. Doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay. Then I would request Brother Mustafa to stop his video as well. I'm also going to stop my video, and then we are going live. Now we are live. We have started broadcasting. So probably
4 minutes.
Mustafa Bey, just turn off your video.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our FinTech for Social and Philanthropy-based Finance event. My name is Emma Jane, and I will be your host. I am very excited to have the pleasure of introducing you all to some of the top industry leaders who are driving financial innovation across the Middle East, Asia, Africa, and Europe. I'm joining you from Sydney, Australia. A little bit about myself. I'm the co-founder of GDA Corporation, which works with governments and regulators in the fintech sector. The financial industry is going through tremendous changes and revolution. As everyone knows, COVID-19 has given us a huge wake-up call to rethink everything, from how we do business, how we do banking and finance, how we're becoming more engaged with the welfare of communities, and how we are now more than ever driven by a strong social innovation. In the next 3 hours, we are going to bring to you the significance of technology and social innovation. There are so many buzzwords going around these days: social finance, community bonds, green bonds, social enterprise, venture philanthropy. For this event, we are going to break all of this down so that everyone can take something out of it. There is an assumption in the finance world today that you can't do well whilst also doing good. I can make 3x doing good, but I can make 10 times this 3x amount of dollars not doing good for society, for humanity, or for the environment. It's true though, isn't it? Because if I'm a business owner, why would I worry about the environment when I also have to worry about paying next month's rent? There are beliefs in society that you can't talk about social impact and making money in the same sentence. But things are changing dramatically. FinTech is really changing everything. There are so many entrepreneurs, businesses, and even governments that are actively looking at how FinTech services and products can drive social finance. One example, a growing sector like microfinancing for businesses. Here, you can make a societal impact, and at the same time, you can also generate strong returns. In other words, you can do both. We are living in a very interesting time. If we start with the definition of social finance, we can think of words like ethically and morally driven, relevant, enabling, and accessible. Technology is playing a tremendously transformational role in driving these adjectives. Social finance is about building trust in an industry with a massive amount of distrust. Technology can be leveraged beyond the financial services themselves to empower people, like access for farmers to lower prices. Using FinTech for good is a global movement for change. FinTech can be used as a gateway to developing a globally inclusive ecosystem. People want a financial institution that shares their values and their beliefs. Today, we are going to hear from the industry experts who have dedicated their lives to building technologies, promoting innovation and disruption around doing social good, and at the same time, meeting business KPIs and revenue. So the next 3 hours are not only going to be extremely relevant to everyone, but this broader topic may also be one of the greatest innovations since the internet era. So stay tuned for very interesting and insightful keynotes and panel discussions. Social innovation and making big changes in finance really makes me inspired. So I want to keep this event extremely useful, fun, and interactive. I encourage all of you to engage and learn something new. More importantly, join the movement to make some change. As some housekeeping before we begin, audience members, you will have the opportunity to also ask questions in the chat box on your screen that can be answered at the end of both session 1 and session 2 in the panel discussions. And now, to introduce our first keynote address for the event, I hand over to the masterful Dr. Hussain Mohiuddin Qadri, the Deputy Chairman Board of Governors at Minhaj University, Lahore. He is an economist, a social reformer, and a renowned Islamic scholar. The title of his address is Sharia with Technology, Finance, and Social Welfare, a model for New Age solutions. Welcome, Dr. Hussain.
Thank you very much, Ima. And first of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers of this beautiful forum and event, especially the FinTech organization and Aligarh University, Lahore, for bringing the experts on this subject together today through this virtual forum again, and providing an opportunity to the people who are interested in Islamic finance today. And then, of course, especially a lot of thanks and congratulations to Dr. Mughis Shaukat and all other organizers and participants, panelists, experts who have joined this forum today. And I pray to Allah Almighty that the efforts we all are putting in together for the betterment of this industry as well as economic conditions of general public and Muslim Ummah. May Allah Almighty accept all these efforts. We can flourish together and people in general and humanity could benefit from all these services which are being provided in the guidelines given by Allah Almighty in Quran al-Hakim and the traditions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear viewers and audience, as Ima has just described, the topic of the presentation which I have selected today to speak on is Sharia with technology, finance, and social welfare, a triangular model for new age solutions. This is the topic which I have selected to speak on today. As we all know, that the COVID-19 pandemic and economic lockdown has severely hurt the global economic activities, and we all know about it. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, are particularly vulnerable, and many of them are already on the verge of collapse. Given the fact that SMEs globally account for 90% of all enterprises and generate more than 50% of employment, such a scenario will bring widespread of loss of output and high unemployment. These are the facts and figures provided by World Bank in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic has, with alarming speed, delivered a global economic shock of enormous magnitude, leading to steep recessions in many countries. The baseline forecast envisioned a 5.2% contraction in global GDP in 2020 only, the deepest global recession in 8 decades, despite unprecedented policy support by the various governments in the world. Per capita income in the vast majority of emerging markets and developing economies are expected to shrink this year, tipping many millions back into poverty, or we can say below the poverty line. And if we look at the circumstances which are being created by COVID-19 and because of the lockdown, in such circumstances, there is an urgent need to explore all possible options to mitigate the impact of outbreak and reboot economies post-COVID-19. Islamic finance, with its inherent orientation towards supporting the real sector, will have a key role to play. Without urgent socio-economic responses, global sufferings will escalate, jeopardizing lives and livelihoods for years to come. Immediate development responses in this crisis must be undertaken with an eye to the future. Considering this scenario, where every economic system in the world is trying to play its active role to benefit people and get rid of this present crisis, we see Islamic economic and financial system can emerge in this scenario, realizing its own position among other economic systems of the world. And this is a high time and right time that the Islamic economic system and financial system play its important role so that everyone else could recognize and realize its importance among other economic systems. S&P Global Ratings believes the global Islamic finance industry will return to slow growth in 2020 and 2021. After strong performance in 2019, underpinned by more dynamic sukuk market, the significant slowdown of core Islamic finance economies in 2020. Dear audience, dear viewers, we expect Islamic banking to show at best stable total asset or slow single-digit growth. This follows 6.6% growth in 2019, thanks to good performance in Gulf Corporation Council, GCC, Malaysia, and other countries. Now coming back to the original topic, the title which I have given to my presentation, the triangular model for new age solutions, which is based on three dimensions, or we can divide it into 4 dimensions. One dimension is Sharia dimension. The second important dimension is technology dimension. The third is financial dimension. And the fourth important dimension is social welfare dimension to this whole thing. Dear viewers, taking the whole scenario into account, especially in the contemporary digital era, it becomes imperative to produce human talent who are both tech savvy and competent enough by having the sufficient knowledge in domain of Sharia and finance. And this is where the comprehensive and considerate Islamic finance education model plays a substantial role to understand and satisfy the current requirements. Here, I feel necessary that we discuss the Islamic economic system so that we can understand what exactly the Islamic economic system means and what Islamic economic system desires from us. There are so many characteristics of Islamic economic system, but the most important one is the basic purpose of Islamic economic activity, which has been described by Quran itself and the traditions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is to achieve and maintain al-adl wal-ihsan, which means it is to achieve and maintain justice and excellence. It is a common knowledge these days that contemporary economic systems does not ensure justice, neither they ensure excellence in their economic activities. That is the reason that drastically different from different economic systems around the world, they have lost the trust of people in them, and they have been failed to address the social economic issues of people and the general upcoming and passing crisis, economic crisis around the world. Dear viewers, redistribution of income and wealth would basically occupy a higher value in such society, and that provides the space and opportunity to institutions to provide the policy instruments and mechanism through being attained from Quran and the traditions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The compensation principle, which is the need of time, and which every single economic system would provide to get rid of the crisis, that compensation system has been addressed and given by Quran and traditions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly. For example, the zakat model, which has been provided by Quran and Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then it's not just the zakat model. There are so many other instruments introduced by Islamic economic and financial system, which gives a proper understanding to the compensation model, the compensating economic model, which could compensate people and which provides the ability to redistribute wealth among haves and haves not. Dear audience, the Islamic economic system, which has given the model of zakat, which provides us with the concept of Qardul Hasana, which also provides the concept of Musharaka, Mudarba, and many other products and tools which are being used today by Islamic financial industry today. These all products are provided by Islamic economic and financial system. And traditionally, these all products are in use by Islamic financial industry, banks, and many other institutions. But today, as we all know, the world is going with a very fast speed and a pace, and evolving into something else. Every single industry, including Islamic finance and everything else, is evolving into something new, which 20 years before people could not perceive or understand how things will emerge today. So the similar one new thing which we all are facing today or got into ourselves, that is technology. So when we talk about traditional finance or financial industry, today all these conventional banks, financial industry, financial market, economic tools, systems, everything has got itself associated with the technology. That brings us to the topic of fintech-based financial companies, institutions, and organizations, where the finance and technology comes together. As every single industry has moved towards technology, same has happened with Islamic Same as happened with financial market. When it comes to the Islamic finance, so we see that today it's like the digital Islamic economy, which was around $107 billion in 2014, is expected to reach $277 billion in 2020. In contemporary Islamic financial industry, however, these technological reforms are still at its initial phase. Muslims that represent a bigger portion of this world total population, which is around 24%, play a significant role and are evidently considered as a substantial part of global economy today. The present Islamic financial industry has moved itself towards technology. So when I say 3 or 4 dimensional model, which is a need of a time, so these two important aspects, they come together hand in hand. One is Sharia, the standards of Islamic economics and finance provided by Quran and Sunnah. They are there already. They were there in their traditional models as well. When all those Islamic financial instruments, the companies, banks, institutions, they are already following the Sharia standards and they are further developing on that. So the one element is there already. Second, I have mentioned that technology has involved with it. Now the technology has become part of it. As I have mentioned, that now it is expected that this technology-based Islamic financial market is expected to become $277 billion worth industry. So which means these two standards are already there. Actually, 3 standards. The first, Sharia. The second thing, finance. And third, technology. So these 3 things come together hand in hand. But it is still at its initial stage because there are so many things which the conventional financial market has already adopted. But it is still, the Islamic financial market is still, they are trying to adopt. For example, fintech, blockchain, augmented reality, virtual reality, IoT, other technologies, they are still working on it. But hopefully in next couple of years, decade or more, all these technologies will be part of Islamic financial market, helping people out. So here, which I am presenting today, or would like to bring the focus and attention of people, that what we need here is to focus on the third important element along with Sharia standards and technology. So the Sharia standards, technology for Islamic financial market is already there. People are developing. What is missing here today is basically the tools and instruments of Islamic finance, which are more related to social welfare. So we have to bring these tools more actively and join them with Islamic Sharia standards as well as fintech or technology to benefit people today, especially after the impact of COVID-19 on economy of the world. COVID-19 is causing, as we know, significant slowdown in core Islamic finance market and a spike in unemployment as well. It is expected that the Islamic social finance instruments, which combine of technology, can made a huge difference in the situation facing by the industry in post-COVID-19 era. And this is not what I'm proposing here is basically that we need a platforms, a technology-based platforms, a fintech-based platforms, where we could have a proper followed Sharia standards, the Sharia standards for economy and Islamic finance provided by Quran and Sunnah, a proper guidelines, along with outstanding and excellent level of technology integration, platforms, digitized things. And the third important thing, all those tools which are related to economic welfare, the social welfare of the people. If we are able to bring these three things together at one platform, this whole industry would see or reach to another level, where actually we will be able to benefit people with Islamic finance and Islamic economic system. I will be giving an examples so that will be making this whole thing more clear. The tools which are usually available today, which we call they are related to social welfare or Islamic social finance, they are called usually. For example, Qard-e Hasana. So this is an instrument which provide cost-free breathing space until the environment stabilizes back. Then we have social sukuk. These instruments could help support the education and healthcare system, aim the current slump, and attracts environmental, social, and governance investors and Islamic investors, those looking for Sharia compliant investments. Then we have Waqf as a social finance tool and instrument. This could help provide affordable housing solutions or access to healthcare and education for people that might have lost a portion of their income. Waqf endowments can in many contexts be important contributors to long-term resilience. Financial or non-financial assets such as land or buildings are permanently dedicated to social purposes. Then we have zakat as an instrument of social finance. Based on our conversations with market participants, we believe that zakat could help compensate for lost household income because of COVID-19. And then most importantly, we have a tool called Islamic microfinance. So today, with Qard-e Hasana or zakat or any other model, we can associate Islamic microfinance as well. So that is another important instrument which could keep economy running, which could reduce the unemployment rates, which could also provide employment to the people in big number, and as well as accommodate zakat and other donations provided in Islamic economic and financial forms and terms to the people for their economic development and betterment. So these are few tools which I have discussed, and we all know they are part of Islamic social finance. But what we are proposing here is basically the combination and integration of three important dimensions: Sharia standards, social finance instruments, and technology. So this is the need of the time. We have so many philanthropies. We have so many Islamic financial institutions working independently in traditional manner, in conventional manner. But today, considering the world is moving towards technology, so bringing those Sharia standards along, then adopting those modern tools and techniques which the technology is providing us, and then the third, social financial instruments. So basically bringing these three dimensions together can provide solution to the people. If we look at today, that do we have such platforms today in the world which are actually doing this, what we are proposing here? Yes, there are nationally in Pakistan and internationally couple of smart platforms, digital platforms, which are trying to do similar thing. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. There is a forum called Global Sadaqah. There is another forum called Baznaz Zakat. There is another forum called Islamic Relief. There is another forum called Fintera. There is another forum called Akhuwat in Pakistan. Couple of governments around the world, especially in Middle East, they are doing similar kind of things at government level. But then when we look at the services or technology-based solutions they are providing to the community through their platforms, so we see a very interesting things which provide us an answer to the question that actually we are looking after all the needs of the consumer and people who are looking toward Islamic financial market to help them in this present scenario? The answer would be no. Why? There are so many reasons. When we look at these platforms from a technological perspective, we see the simple and traditional tech tools and instruments are there on Islamic financial smart platforms, which are available already. But then when we see, are they using blockchain services as well? The answer would be no. Only one or two platforms, they are already shifted their technologies to blockchain. Then we see robo-advisory. They are not providing robo-advisory. We see data analysis. Are these platforms giving the big data analysis? Answer would be very rare. Internet of Things, nobody is providing anything like that. Artificial intelligence, only 10 to 20% are providing, especially those digital platforms which are related to Islamic economics and Islamic finance. When we look at other international organizations, there are so many organizations going on, Amazon, Netflix, so many international organizations, they are doing this artificial intelligence and providing a lot of ease to the consumers. But when it comes to Islamic financial market and organization, it may be an Islamic philanthropic organization, or it may be an Islamic financial institution or anything. So they are not up to the mark what kind of technology people and other international organizations are using today. So we are analyzing that, are we already there at par with other industries, what they are doing in terms of technology? No, we have to cover that distance. Then deep learning, no platform is providing that. Data visualization, yes, couple of platforms are providing. Social media API, yes, organizations are doing that. When it comes to service-based comparison among the available platforms, we see, are they accommodating zakat? Yes, they accommodate zakat. Waqf, yes, they are accommodating waqf. Donations and sadaqahs, yes, they provide an opportunity where you can give your sadaqat and donations. Qarde hasana, do they are providing an opportunity to give qarde hasana? No. Only one among available platforms, they are doing qarde hasana. No other institution or digital platform, smart platform is doing qarde hasana service. Product-based Islamic finance, not a single digital organization or Islamic philanthropy or Islamic financial institution is providing product-based Islamic microfinance. Application-based assistance, yes, organizations are doing. Call for help and aid, yes, they are doing. Training and consultation, they are not providing. Entrepreneurial activities, they are not working in that area as well. Now, looking at other gateways and services, analyzing them and comparing these platforms, that how they are doing, we will see that multiple payment gateways, no. Various countries, they are dealing in their own currencies only. So the globalization and integrational aspect is not there. Multiple currencies options are not there. More than two languages, English and Arabic, or a couple of other languages, no such facilities provided to the community. Where tracking of campaigns for donors and beneficiaries. No such services provided by these platforms. Categories of various campaigns, very rare that they speak and provide more categories so that the donor feel more comfortable selecting the category in which he or she wants to invest. The campaign fees, clear-cut information which is needed to be provided to donor, that is missing in available platforms. With chat bots for the instant communication, that is not there. Partners, this is the global world. People, they cannot work independently, so they have to work in partnership. Such partnerships are very rare in this area and industry. And then zakat-based microfinancing, again, that is missing. So this is the analysis which I wanted to give today, considering that if we bring this three-dimensional solution to today's problem, I repeat, Islamic Sharia standards, technology, and social finance. So whatever is available in the form of various platforms, so we will see that they are not doing enough. So what is the solution? Solution is basically looking at all these dimensions together: Islamic Sharia standards, technology. So we have to see what other industries are doing. What we see towards Amazon, we see towards Netflix, we very international industries, organizations available, how they are operating. Why cannot we bring these technologies, these smart artificial intelligence tools, instruments into Islamic finance, and then link all those things with social finance so that we can actually help people out? Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, I would take this opportunity to discuss and announce that Alhamdulillah, Minhaj is basically started working on this model along with a couple of national and international partners. And inshallah, soon we will be coming up with a platform where actually the shortfalls and shortcomings which I have just gone through and discussed and presented in front of you, we will be looking after all these shortcomings on that platform, which will have a proper Sharia standards backed Islamic financial tools and dealings, along with all those available technology-based, digitized services which are available in the world, whatever is available latest in the world. We will accommodate and adopt all those tools and services to facilitate the people who are associated with Islamic finance and they want to get themselves facilitated with the services provided by Islamic finance. And then, most importantly, all those social financial instruments like zakat-based microfinancing and product-based microfinancing, along with other services which are not being provided elsewhere by other platforms. Inshallah, our platform and organization will be looking after those areas as well. I'm very much hopeful, inshallah, once we will be able to launch that organization and platform that would be unique in its nature, in its services, in its forms, technologically, Sharia standards wise, and inshallah, in terms of providing the social finance instruments to the people. So that is all from my side. I'm very much hopeful that today's virtual forum will be able to, inshallah, instigate the discussions on modern tools and techniques related to social finance, which could benefit people around the world in post-COVID-19 scenario. I once again congratulate the organizers of this beautiful event, along with all those great experts, panelists, and most importantly, all the participants who have joined us from all over the world. And I pray to Allah Almighty that may Allah accept whatever we are doing with husn niyyah for the betterment of people. Thank you very much. Wassalam.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. One comment, you talked about giving access to more people. And just to add something to that, Australia just launched the Open Banking Initiative here around 6 days ago, which is going to bring, I would say, a lot of access and huge innovation